Hey, if you're thinking about getting into the insurance business, you're gonna wanna watch this video. I'm going over all of the pros and cons.
Look, insurance sucks. I'll just make it suck less.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brad Hannon. If you're new here, we like to say we started this channel for one reason, actually for three reasons, right? To help you polish your skills, to make more sales, and ultimately make more money.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Selling insurance. And today I want to talk to you about whether or not insurance is for you, right? I'm going to go through, look, I have nothing laid out. I'm just going to go through and talk with you through the pros and cons as it's pertained to me selling insurance, right? So we'll start with the pros, because who even really wants to go into the cons anyways? We're going to go into it because we want to be realistic, but I'm a pretty positive person. I don't really like to look at a lot of the cons. I tend to look at the positives. So we'll talk about the pros. I love the insurance business because you get to create your own income. Okay. So you really get to, build your own income, whatever that means to you. You know, I've seen people make six figures, and kind of fizzle out and say, they're happy, they're content. That's where they want to be. I've seen people, smash through six figures into $250,000, $500,000 and still not be content. And you really get to decide that for yourself, right? You get to create your own income depending on the opportunity that you're, taking and the ceiling that comes along with it. If you're going 1099, you get to create a schedule, right? So flexibility of a schedule, which, to be honest with you, it sounds a little bit like a pro, but sometimes it could be a con as well, because if you're like me, you're just always working. You never shut it off, right? You are your business. You become your business, and literally it just does not shut off. You can ask my family, you can ask my friends. It just does not shut off with me ever, which, hey, I love it. I'm glad I found something I love. It's great. You get to help people, right? You're helping people with which is another, pro, of course, is we're helping people with a real problem, right? Insurance is confusing. People out there need our help. They're asking for your help. And so you're actually kind of making a difference out there, obviously more so than if you were, I don't know. I don't want to hate on any occupations out there, but you're helping people, right? So you're making good living, but you're also doing it an honest way by helping people. You get to talk to people. If you're me, like right now, I'm just talking to myself and it works. So I just love to talk to people. I'm kind of a social butterfly, if you will. Definitely extroverted. So talking to people throughout the day is awesome. It is one of the best industries, in my opinion, for self-improvement because it is sales, right? So, you get to work on yourself, self-improvement through this business. I mean, it's not just a mundane 9 to 5. You're going in and you're just doing your whatever accounting, sorry, accountants, but you're just doing your accounting and you're checking out for the day or whatever that might be. And I know that accounting is probably the wrong thing to use because that's anything but boring to those that actually love it. But self-improvement, be your own boss a lot of times, right? For some, this is good. Again, this is another one that could go both ways, because for some, being your own boss is not only good, but it's necessary, right? Because that's the type of person you are, you're motivated, you're self-starter. But for others, being your own boss can ultimately be the reason you don't succeed, is because you're not disciplined. You're not following a structure. You're not, sticking to your guns. You're not working when you say you're going to work. You're not making the calls when you say you're not showing up, essentially. So, being your own boss could be a pro or it could be a con depending on your situation. Let's get into some cons real quick. So that's a lot of pros, hopefully enough to convince you to sell insurance, because it's the best thing I ever did. But the cons are there's no guarantee, right? If you're going into a commission only role, right, which commission only role is going to 9 times out of 10 be the only opportunity where you really truly have no ceiling. Okay. I say this all while hiring W-2 employees, but here's the reality with the W-2 employees. They understand, and I have talked through with them at length what this looks like long term, because nobody wants to, well, I shouldn't say nobody. The right person for my sales organization, right? A real trained killer, right? Like Coach Burt would say, a Navy SEAL and not a baby SEAL, is going to be somebody that doesn't get complacent. So they're making $100,000, $120,000 a year, and they're not complacent. So that W-2 employee that caps out at 120, 150, they're eventually going to get a little bit uneasy, right? They're gonna feel like they're ready to move on to the next thing. And I want my agents, I want my team, my partners rather, to know that, hey, when that time comes, I'm here for you as well. So just a little tangent, because LOA, W-2, this gets just a bad rap in our industry. But I'm telling you, some of the best agents I know started as W-2 LOAs or call center agents, and they learned the business in a different way, and it took them, you know, to the moon. So, but the point is, the con, there is no guarantee. If you're in a 1099 commission-based role, there is no guarantee to having any income at all. You have to overcome, one of the other cons is you have to overcome a lot of like stereotypes, right? Insurance salespeople get this kind of bad rap. I don't know if it's life insurance back in the day or the door-to-door stuff that, you know, used to go on and still goes on, to be honest with you. I don't understand how. I was just watching something the other day and they're doing door-to-door. She says, I don't understand why people still go door-to-door. But hey, if you're doing it and you're doing it well, you know, I don't blame you. But overcoming the stereotype of, you know, pushy insurance salesman or, you know, all insurance. I mean, listen, this just comes from my own personal feeling. Like when somebody told me originally, you should sell insurance. My wife, she said, you should consider selling insurance. I said, you should consider telling somebody else that, because you're freaking out of your mind if you think I'm selling insurance. Because the first thing that came to mind was like a suit and tie that smelled like smoky bar room and, you know, carrying a briefcase around. And this was like 7 years ago, you know, so I'm not talking 15 years ago. I'm talking 7 years ago when people were selling over the phone and, you know, not wearing suits going door to door. But that's just what popped up in my head. You know, there's a lot of mental and emotional ups and downs. So that would be a con for some. For me, it goes back to self-improvement. Those ups and downs have helped to kind of shape me. So like I said, when I talked about the pro of insurance being self-improvement and being able to kind of work on yourself because you are your own boss, you are your own business, you know, that comes with a lot of ups and downs, but those ups and downs have helped to refine and shape me. So, you know, again, I would take that con and say it could also be a pro, depending on which side of the spectrum you fall on, right? I tend to look at all of these cons as positives, like overcoming stereotypes. That's why we created the brand Insurance Sucks, right? Because I want to overcome that right from the get-go. Like, hey, listen, I believe the same things you believe. We are a lot alike. I think insurance sucks too, just like you. Now that we're on level playing field, let's have a conversation about insurance that maybe doesn't suck as bad, right? So we can level with people. No guaranteed income. Again, that's a con, but the pro is there's no ceiling. There's no cap to how much money I can make in any given year. And that's incredible to me, right? I don't have a salary that I'm married to or tied to or golden handcuffs. Okay. So ups and downs, lots of ups and downs. Another one would be the total lack of understanding that the general public has towards insurance, not just health, but life or Medicare. I mean, just lack of education that our general public has on insurance makes it a little bit difficult sometimes for us to be able to sell. I mean, you could look at that as a positive too, because they don't know a lot of, they're easier to sell to, right? Easier to fool, I guess, right? So lack of education in the market would mean that it's a little bit harder to sell sometimes, or you have to maybe be a little bit more educated to actually make that sale. What are some other cons? See, it's hard to really come up with a lot of cons because, to be honest with you, I've experienced mostly pros. I love it. You know, a con could be you have to talk to people. If you're not a person that likes to talk to people, if you're an introvert, having to talk to people every day could sound like nails on a chalkboard, right? For me, I love it, but you have to talk to people. So we'll put that down as a pro or a con. And really that has just about everything. I'll just give you the backstory. When I started selling insurance, I drove, you know, an old beater Ford Ranger. I had sold everything to go to ministry school, and you know, went through some things with the church and left the church basically. Fell into insurance and certainly was not expecting to come as far as I've came already, or to make it a lifetime thing. It was like, hey, this seems cool to do. Can make some money, but it's been a life-changing, life-altering decision. So again, all pros for me. If you're on the fence about whether you should sell insurance or not, let's have a conversation. We can work through some of these pros and cons. Would love to help you out, and ultimately would love to see you win in the insurance business.
I'm a health insurance hustler. Bradley Hannon's the name. I'm here to teach these agents how to play the game. I'm a health insurance hustler. One thing you Hello, BradHannon.com.